All right, everyone ready to roll? Well, Sweet 16s are new around here, but not for Hailey. This is her 5th Sweet 16, one of 5 players since 2000 to go to 5 straight Sweet 16s. Lots happened here in the last couple days, so we'll take any questions you have in the room from her.
Hailey, after the game, you said you wanted to be like a walking testimony for like God's value and how you can turn your life around. After those comments and what you said to us in the locker room, I guess I'm just curious, what's the reception been like to some of the things you shared with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very positive. I've received a lot of encouragement and also a lot of people, sharing that they can relate or that I help them, feel understood. And that's the whole point. I think I meant it when I said that I've been praying on what the timing of when God wants me to share my story for a while, because I've known ever since it started that he was I'm going through such a unique journey that it has to be for a reason bigger than myself. And so I've known that I had to share it at some point. I've been praying on it, and I just felt, the question that kicked it off, as soon as they asked the question, I knew, okay, this is the time that he wants me to speak on it. And it's been great. It's a little bit intimidating for me because it's totally outside my comfort zone. Only the people that are closest to me, like my parents and maybe, my brother and my best friend, kind of know the extent to what my life has been like. So that was way out of my comfort zone, and all those people knowing that about me has been a little bit scary for me, but I accepted God's challenge of sharing it, and so now I need to walk in it, and I'm so glad that it's been received well and it's helped a lot of people out. That was the whole point. So
Hailey, talk about, bouncing off of that, talk about how nowadays more players are kind of showing more moments of vulnerability, because ultimately it can help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, man, I think a huge thing for me was there's also been we're seeing a lot of student athletes in college and also, professional, we're seeing a lot of people suffer from mental health, and they don't always see the other side of it. And I think when I was in college, there was a stretch, the time that when I decided I needed to get help and get serious was when I think I saw the story about the Stanford goalie who had committed suicide, and my parents were scared, my family was scared, my best friend was scared, and you just know that more people are going through it than are willing to talk about it, and if I have to be one of the ones that starts a conversation, God blessed me with the platform to do that. So I just have felt it being put on my heart that he wants me to speak on it. So I feel blessed to have the platform to do that.
What about your time here at TCU has been helpful and put you on the journey to where you are now, where you're in such a better place?
I think I've done a lot of work on my own end personally. I invested in a sports psychologist who kind of doubles as like a normal therapist at the same time. And also, I think I've matured a lot. I'm older than I was. When I was going through a lot of my issues, I was like 19. So I was really young, and I didn't know how to handle a lot of things. And I'm much more open to getting help from other people. I also think the coaching staff here, and just Coach Campbell's leadership style in general, has been huge for me. He truly does, he's a man of faith himself, and he brings that to practice every day. He doesn't just follow God off the basketball court. He coaches us with a servant leadership style, and that has been huge for me in improving and growing the strength that I have with my relationship with God as well. So I definitely have worked on it myself and on my own time, but the people that I have leading me and mentoring me here have been huge.
I know that Chauncey Franks is another person here who has worked with the leadership group among your teammates. Can you just talk about that group and him and his impact as well?
Yeah, I think, the time that we spend with Chauncey, it's like 5 of us, sometimes 4, that go pretty regularly. And it's really helped prepare me to open up, because he challenges us to share about our own lives and what's going on with us with each other. And so it was great preparation for me to become comfortable with telling other people, what's going on with me and my life, and just being open with, everyday struggles that other people might not get to see. So it's been great practice, and, Chauncey he probably doesn't know how much he has helped, us in all different ways. Every person in that room probably hears something different from him. So he's been huge for us, and it was definitely great preparation for me.
Notre Dame is obviously a big achievement for you guys, but how much has this team grown since that game?
Yeah, I mean, watching it on film, like how much better we've gotten, and the just how different we play now. I'm super excited for us because I think we have gotten a lot better, especially from a defensive standpoint. I think we've taken the intensity up. So I think it's going to be a great challenge for us. They're obviously they're a great team. Like, there's no question about that. So it's an awesome opportunity for us to challenge, how much better have we gotten? It's a test. And so I think that we're ready to embrace that challenge, and everyone's in a good headspace. So, as a competitor, I can't wait for Saturday.
Coach Dykes, actually, when he was in here earlier, said there's lessons to be learned for his team from watching you guys and how you come together and meshed, and different personalities from different places in a short amount of time. If he came to you and said, all right, give me the game plan on it, what would you say?
On how to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best way I could help him out is, there's a standard of character that you have to recruit, and I think everyone has to be a humble, willing participant, and that is the bottom line. You can't do it unless that's the case. And so it really starts with the people that you bring in, and it's a hard, not everyone, you might have to sacrifice a really good player who you don't think would fit that, and as a coach or as the person recruiting, you have to be willing to take that risk. And it's hard, it's very hard, and that's what makes it so rare.
Hailey, you guys are obviously a much different team than you are in November, but Notre Dame is as well. As you guys have been preparing for them, what are you seeing on film that might be different than what you saw a couple months ago?
Yeah, well, since we've played them, their main 4 player, Maddie Westbeld, has came back, so she's definitely an added component. They play a lot smaller now, which, has its pros and cons. And we're also very different, and our style of play is different, but we definitely will have to watch last time we played them, but also, their recent games, because they do run a lot of different actions. Maddie really changes, the playing style with her versatility. So, we're gonna watch what worked last time, but also, what has changed since we last played them.
Maddie, in your previous Sweet 16 games, how have they been different than the round of 64, the round of 32, the games that have come before? Like, at this point in the tournament, how are they different?
Yeah, I mean, the round of 32 and the round of 64 is, at least when I'm in them, you're expected to win. The seeds that I've played at in all those rounds, we're the favorite. And so there's a different approach mentally people usually take when you're expected to win versus, 2 great teams on Saturday are going to play, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. And so I think really embracing that change in mindset of like, okay, we're expected to win. We have room. We maybe have a couple room for, mistakes or errors. And then you move on to a game where it's a 2-3 seed playing, which very similar stack. Like the scouting report is probably very similar on talent and how elite, the players are. So very little room for mistakes and a lot of room for toughness and competitive energy. So I think that's kind of where the mindset will have to shift.
You think about your first 2 tournament games this season, a little bit of a slow start in the first quarter, then you guys really picked it up after that. How do you maybe avoid a similar start on Saturday?
Yeah, I think both games were different. I think, offensively, we actually started out really well against Louisville. I think we scored 20 points in the first quarter, which, we're known for that. We can put points on the board, but I think defensively, especially with a team like Notre Dame who plays off of energy and passion, as much as we can limit their runs and shorten the amount of time that they can garner that energy is going to be very critical for us. So coming out in the first quarter, first half in general, and having a lot of defensive intensity is going to be huge for us. At the end of the day, I trust us to take the right shots, and you can't ask us to make every shot, but I think we're going to put ourselves in a good position to make a lot of shots. And so defensively for me, I think we have to be, nails. We can't have too many mistakes on that end.
How do you
see the word?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
How do you translate your experience to, your teammates that haven't been in this position? How does that translate from, of course, you're going to go in confident, you've been here before. How do you translate that to make sure that your teammates they understand the level of the moment, but aren't frazzled?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the year, you have to have the deposits in the bank with them. If I come to them and try to build them up and tell them everything's going to be okay and I haven't done it all year, it's not going to go too far. So I think that, I've made a lot of effort to connect with my teammates to where they trust me when I tell them that I think they're going to make this shot. And, in the first quarter, you don't always make every shot, but if it's a good shot, I want them to shoot that 10 times out of 10. And so I think giving them the confidence and having a demeanor about me that shows that I trust them is the number one thing. As long as my teammates know that I trust them and believe in them, I think that we're super dangerous. So, it's my job to make sure that we're there mentally, and but I have confidence in myself that I can do that.
Hailey, did you get a chance to see the clip of your dad being interviewed before the last game?
Yeah. He tried to hide it from me. He did not want me to watch it. Yes, I saw it.
What does it mean to you for him to feel as proud as he does?
Yeah, I'm very, very close with my dad. We're like the same person, so we butt heads a lot. It's a very intense father-daughter relationship, but he loves me more than anything in the world, and to my whole career, the sacrifice that he has committed for me. When I was in high school, he would work 10, 11-hour days on a construction site, not like the easiest job in the world, and come straight to the gym to work me out for 2 hours in his work boots, everything. And at the time, I probably took it for granted, but now looking back, the things that he has done for me, not a lot of people would do that for their kid. And so we're very close, and there's a lot of love there. And seeing him get emotional obviously made me emotional, but also seeing him not want me to see it was awesome too. But yeah, I love my dad more than anything, and I'm super grateful to have him on this journey with me.
When you see people use the word underdog, what do you think?
When I was younger, things like that used to irritate me because, of course, I never feel like an underdog. But now I've accepted, I understand how media and things like that work, and I'm okay with it as long as it gets more people to watch the game, or it gets more people into women's basketball. I'm okay with it. I don't share that perception, obviously. And that's okay. Two things can exist at the same time for two different people or two different teams, and I'm okay with that. I hope that makes more people cheer for us or makes more people watch the game, just the narrative that's being built around it. But I wouldn't say that we feel like underdog or that I feel like underdog. I think that we know they're a great team, and we know that we're going to have to come to play 100%. But at the end of the day, we're good as well, and we're confident in what we do. So it's going to be a great women's basketball game. I'm super excited for it.
Any final questions for Hailey?
A while back after the NC State game, or maybe it was just before the NC State game, you went viral with the clip about they know about us already. And now that you're in the Sweet 16, do you think people know about TCU if they hadn't at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think people know about us. I think obviously we're not a favorite by any means, but not everyone can be a favorite. That's okay. I wouldn't say I've been a favorite at any point in my career, any team I've been on. So we're used to it, and it's all right. We're going to keep getting stuff out the mud, and if that's our DNA, that's our DNA, and I have no shame in that. I can do both. I'll just give me the opportunity to play. I don't care if we're a favorite. I don't care if you don't know about us. As long as you get us on that court, anything can happen. So that's my mindset going into it, and I feel confident that my teammates feel the same way.
All right, thanks. All right, we got Coach Campbell here. There was a lot that was going on Sunday night, Monday morning, but I don't know if anybody missed it, but Coach was announced as one of 4 finalists for the Naismith Coach of the Year Award. The winner will be announced a week from today, Wednesday, April 2nd, so fingers crossed there. We'll let Coach share his opening thoughts on everything that's unfolded and then take any questions you guys have.
Well, it's been a very busy week, a very exciting week. Preparing for Notre Dame and a Sweet 16 opportunity is special and something that's rare, and it's hard to get this opportunity. So you truly value it and you dive into it with everything you have. At the same time, the portal just opened, and there's over 800 players already that have entered that. So while you go through your normal game week preparations, you're also got one eye on the portal and making sure that our staff has a good pulse on that. And so it's been a fun and busy and hectic week.
Kind of like what I asked Hailey. Obviously, that Notre Dame game, that was a momentous occasion for this program, for this team. But how much has this team grown since then?
Yeah, it's we're not the same team. Neither are they. But I would say us even more so. Because of all the new pieces, half our roster was new, and at that time in November, you're trying to form your identity. You're trying to figure out your leadership. The players are figuring each other out, and so at this point of the year now, we're operating at full capacity. This group is maxing themselves out. And at that time, your everything, your scheme, your subbing rotations, all of those things, you're working those things out. So it's fun to look back. We've studied that film and learned from it, from what we can. But you got to make sure you scrub Notre Dame and start from scratch and make sure we know exactly who they are, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. And so our staff's done a great job, and Chavi and Nia are working hard on that scout.
What does it mean to you to be named a Coach of the Year finalist?
Oh, it's it means I have a really good team, and it means I have an incredible staff. To be one of those Final Four, it means our village has accomplished something really, really special. And obviously, I'm the head of it. But to do it, I've done my role, but we just have an amazing group of people this year that are all pulling in the same direction. And so it's an incredible honor just to be listed with those other coaches. And it's just another example, whether you're a player or a coach, that you can succeed at the highest level at TCU.
Coach, I spoke with Chauncey and he said that you and him came up with this leadership list at the beginning of the season for the team. Can you just kind of expand on that and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Hailey talked a little bit about, just her growth and development this year. And you pour so much into the basketball piece. You pour a lot of time and energy and resources into strength and conditioning. We have our own nutritionists. But one thing not many people pour into is leadership, and what does that look like? And how do you grow and develop in that area? And so we did 11 sessions, 11 different leadership topics, and to walk through that. And I poured more into the leadership team than captains. Captains is something, that's almost an honorary thing. You get to go to half court and meet the referees and shake hands and do that. And I wanted to create a leadership team that we could pour into, and that group of players could pour into their teammates. And so it's been awesome. It's something I'll do every season moving forward. And I think philosophy that I've had, especially in modern college athletics, is double down on your culture, double down on people. And I think it's one of our secret sauces here, and what has made this group so special and allowed us to come together so quickly. So Chauncey's been awesome. It's been neat getting to know him and his family over the last 2 years. Our very first team activity was at his house to kick off the year during the summertime. So it's been fun to lock arms with him and go through this journey together.
I think I speak for most of them. I say Hailey's been awesome for us to cover this year. Just for you, I guess, how awesome has it been to coach? And I guess what was just going through your mind when she just has the courage to share kind of her own personal testimony?
Hailey Van Lith, man, she has jumped into this thing with 2 feet. Hailey doesn't tiptoe with anything she does. And that kid, every fiber of her body is about winning. And there's just not many that you get a coach like her that has this fearless warrior spirit to her. And at the same time, she's selfless, an incredible teammate, and fun-loving. And so just getting to lock arms with her, and, I've now had 3 of my last 4 guards have been named Player of the Year as a head coach. And each one of those kids I've got to have for 9 months. Leona Tillman and Kalasia Dean and now Hailey Van Lith. And in order for it to work, to get someone like that, the offense goes through them, and you get 9 months to figure this thing out. I mean, you're literally attached at the hip for a 9-month sprint, and you're doing it together. And so I have had an absolute blast getting to do this journey with Hailey. And I think Hailey opening up and feeling safe, the space that we've created, the environment that she's in, for her to feel safe and vulnerable, to open up and share her story, is really special. And I would say it's hard for young people. That's hard to be that vulnerable, whether you're an adult at any age. And so it's really neat that she's been able to do that. And Hailey's impacting lives that we will never even know about because of the platform that she has and who she is. So it is really, really cool. More proud of that and her testimony, that's more powerful than any game we've won. And so it's really neat to see things that have unfolded on the court in our program, and to me, even more importantly, what's unfolded off the court.
She specifically credited you and your leadership and what you've created here. And Sonny, when he was in here, even said, there are lessons we could learn and how to put a team together from our women's basketball team. Again, he talked about you by name. What do you think it is that you were able to do, that you've been able to create this so quickly and so cohesively?
Yep. You whether it's staff, whether it's players, you're trying to find just high achieving people that have a humble spirit to them, that have a great work ethic, and you collect as many of those people as you can. And it's really hard to do, to stick to your guns, as there's talented people, and sometimes there's really talented people that we've passed on. And it's really hard. And I also think we value it so much, of getting to know the potential players and their family and their background and who they are and what their DNA is. It's easy to just do the basketball piece, study film, and figure out who the good basketball players are. But how do you take that and add the human element and try to get that right? We don't bat 100%, you know, nobody does, but I think we've done an amazing job and batted a really high percentage on the people that have joined our program, whether that's staff or players. And so it's something I care a lot about and I value a lot. You get the culture piece right, and we had it last year too. We just had the injuries, and this year we still got the culture piece right, but now you added some high level talent. And now you're 33-3 and in the Sweet 16.
Talked a lot about your accomplishments here and the culture that you've built and being a finalist. Was there a role model for you, or who set the standard for you and poured into you to allow you to have this success?
Yeah. I've talked about it before, but Randy Bennett, he's the head men's coach at St. Mary's College. He's been there 24 years. And I was just starting off my coaching career, and I knew nothing about coaching at all. And he gave me an opportunity to be a part of his staff. And I'll share this. I mean, I learned from A to Z of how to run a program and how to treat people. And his gifting in coaching is identifying the right people. And it's incredible at his ability to find the hard workers, the humble people, and create an incredible culture and environment. And St. Mary's, you go back there in the summertime, and all the former players are there training and working out in his little village. And I mean, I started at ground zero. And so when I first got there, one of my jobs, we'd have these early morning practices, and the kids would do ice baths. And so he told me about this, and you know, he's told me that the ice baths, this Rubbermaid cattle trough that was out back. And so I go out there, and it's back in the shed outside, so there's bird crap on it and stuff. And so I'm out there brushing and cleaning it up, and man, I tell you what, I got that ice bath. I'd wheel it up, and you had to get the ice from down in the lower part where the practice gym was, and I'd carry buckets of ice up right about 20 minutes before conditioning was done and fill it up and get it the perfect temperature. And you know, I had every kid's Gatorade with their initials on it and their favorite color sitting in the ice bath. But he taught me that whatever job you're assigned, do that job like you're the head coach, and do it to the best of your ability. And that's for everybody on his staff. And within that, you do it well. And then I got an opportunity to do something a little more important than that. And then something else a little more important. And each one of his staff members, he trained each one of us, every area of a program, from recruiting to scheduling to player development to scouting. And then the same with the players. And so I owe Randy my whole career for him investing in me, teaching me, training me, and just allowing me to be there. I say I got my PhD in coaching during those 2 years that I got to be there. And so majority of what we do and how we operate and how we value people is because of him and his program.
Coach, we talked about the player growth this season, but back in the Oklahoma State game, you said that was a lot on you because of your bench management. How have you grown in the time throughout the season now playing in the Sweet 16 Saturday?
Oh man, I mean, this is my 4th year as a head coach. I've grown each year a ton. You know, at Sac State and here, you took over programs that were at rock bottom of college athletics. And so to cut your teeth and try to figure it out and make mistakes. And each year, I'm thankful for all the players that have, you know, gone on this journey with me and allowed me to figure out how to be a head coach. And so my growth every year has been massive, you know, and this is my first time this year of getting to be the head coach where you have, you know, some of the best players in college basketball and managing them and pushing them and keeping the group cohesive when you have major star power. I've learned a lot. The Oklahoma State game, you know, I think I messed up in regards to expecting them to understand on the road in a tough environment because of their age and all the battles they've been through that I gave them too much freedom at that time in the year. And so sometimes you have to learn, you know, lessons that are painful in order to go, okay, next time we're in that situation, how to manage it much better. And so there's been many of those for me as a head coach this season, but really every year. And I just enjoy that process of trying to figure it out. And I'm thankful for all these kids that truly have gone through this journey with me over these 4 years.
So, college basketball obviously knows who you all are, but there'll be some fans who are meeting TCU women's basketball for the first time, right? How would you do the synopsis of, from a year ago, a little more than a year ago, open tryouts to Sweet 16 and one of the bigger programs in college basketball?
I think it's the greatest story going on in college basketball, men or women. To go from 1-17, forfeiting games, holding open tryouts, it's like a Disney movie, to the best season in school history, winning a league title, winning a conference championship, and being, you know, a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, being 33-3. Just, you're at the pinnacle of our sport now. It's surreal. It's hard. You're in the eye of the storm, so it's truly hard to understand the big picture from how the outside of our bubble views it. But I have a hard time believing that there is a better story in March Madness than TCU women's basketball and what's transpired in the last 24 months.
So you brought up Disney. Do you accept the role that you guys are Cinderella or the underdog? Or I asked Hailey the same thing, or does that word kind of bother you a little?
Oh, that doesn't at all. It's a great question to try to pick one. To be honest, it is a Cinderella story. We haven't been here ever as a program. The players have had unique experiences, but this group and this school and this program have not been here. And so if I had to say, it is a Cinderella story that's unfolded. And that's what March is about. That's what makes March Madness the greatest sporting event in our country. And you know, we just had our last practice here, which was fun and emotional for the kids in the group, and we took the exact same picture from July with the exact same order and pose, and the girls had a blast with it. But all of this is a Cinderella story that's truly transpired right in front of our eyes.
Sticking on the Disney theme for another moment here, if it did become a movie, who would play you?
That's a good question. I'm going to flip the script. Who do you think would be a good? Who would play me? I don't know. You guys, I don't watch movies. I don't have many hobbies. I have TCU women's basketball in my family. And I don't really have time for anything else. I'm pretty boring. So I'm open to suggestions of who would be a good character.
Jeremy
Watch
Renner.
Winning Time?
Jeremy Renner,
Jeremy
yes,
Jeremy Renner would be
100%.
good.
That's a compliment, that's good. Yeah.
Basketball.
You can look him up on the plane, Jeremy Renner, 100%.
Okay, that's funny. I'll Google it.
Lakers on HBO?
No.
Man,
It's a good one?
it is. The guy who played Pat Riley, he need to dye his hair a different color. Yeah, Adrian Brody, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Brody's
That'd be
good
another
one.
good one too.
Yeah, like I don't watch Netflix. I don't do any of those. Just, yep, TCU basketball and my 2 daughters and wife.
Coach, you just talked about it, but how do you kind of balance the portal while also preparing for Notre Dame? And how much sleep have you gotten the last week?
That's a $1 million question that everybody is trying to figure out. I don't know. You're literally, there is no blueprint for it. The teams that are winning are at a disadvantage because of the timing of the portal. I do know I'm giving this team everything I got to prepare and make sure we have the best opportunity on Saturday to win. And I'm making very selective calls when I can. But my focus is this team, and if that means I'm behind on the recruiting trail, then I'm a little bit behind, but our staff is working diligently, trying to keep it organized, because the influx of players that have gone in, which is what you expect and will continue for the next, couple weeks, we're flying by the seat of our pants to do the best we can. I do think it's neat, the success that we've had. There's now the people that reach out to us, and express interest of, hey, would you be interested in? So that's been neat. Instead of having to really dig deep and try to find, the kind of diamonds in the rough. So which we're still doing. We're going through. You guys, our staff's incredible. They watch so much film and study the portal. They go through every name that pops in there. We're going to lay eyes on and dig and make sure we don't miss any good players.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, we'll see you guys Thursday or Friday in Birmingham.